I dare them to do anything in front of me, and retaliate with a whole nonprofit at your back now that every single person that runs it and that's in the program has experienced it in some way, shape, or form.
So
yeah. And I'm going to be a whole ass advocate. You want to be scared? You can be scared. I'll let you be. I'm not. I'll be advocating for you every step of the way. I might look pretty, but my mouth ain't. I'll fucking cuss you up and down this whole ass place. You're going to know that I was there and that she told somebody and now she's not alone. Yo, chain of command's like, I'm coming for you. Like, you're not going to get away with this anymore.
So do the right thing to begin with, and then you won't have to deal with Kaila.
Yep.
Integrity. Yeah, have some integrity. Be accountable. And, live those Army values that you make us memorize from start to finish.
Welcome back to the He's Wrong, She's Right podcast. I'm Andrew. This is Nona. And it wouldn't be our podcast if we weren't having technical difficulties as always. So Kaila, thank you for bearing with us. And for those of us, I'm redoing the intro. This is our first returning guest to the show, Kaila Fain. If you guys haven't seen the episode, that'll be linked down in the description so you guys can go check that out and see the episode with her and her husband, Jay Limp. He gets that name for a great reason. By the way, I saw he was getting a new fitting for, what do they call it?
That's where we are.
Oh, nice.
You have to travel all the way to South Carolina for that?
Yeah, for sure. We'll touch base on that.
Oh, okay.
I'm at Bulow right now in South Carolina. We live in Kansas City. And so I went to the VA with Jay to meet his new prosthetist. And Jay took off his leg and kind of showed him the site and like the leg itself and how it's made and the socket that he sits in. And old boy sit there, he's like, so yeah, complete transparency. I've never seen one of those in real life. And I was like, bro. So we told him, we were like, well, we're going to South Carolina anyway. We're getting his new socket made. And so I've been video and pictures, everything, the process so that we can take those steps back and take it back to Kansas City with us. And we can teach those prosthetists and doctors how to take care of people like Jay. And they're going to try making their own socket for Jay. Because like I said, like, they're just like, well, I've never actually seen that in real life.
That instills great faith.
Yeah. Hey, at least if it works, you're the one responsible for training them up. You'd be like, hey.
You paved the way.
Yeah. And not only that, maybe I should get a kickback on this for everyone that you install. Maybe give me a couple bucks.
Right.
So not to change the topic so abruptly, but we wanted to have you back on because you just did a major speaking engagement. You were a keynote for. I'll actually just let you explain it. I know what it is, but I know if I say the wrong thing, it's going to ruffle feathers.
Yeah, take it away.
That's all right. So Shield of Sisters invited me out. I had met Shannon. She's the CEO, the chairman. She's the one that made the whole nonprofit a couple years ago. And Dan Horgan, my old boss at that place, he made the introduction, and Shannon was like, you're so awesome. Like, I want to make this conference happen. And at that time I was doing events nationally, right, from San Antonio and going out and opening all those stores and whatnot. And so I kind of was like, I know how to set this up, but not be there. Well, then all that stuff happened last year with Jay. And so I was like, I need to concentrate on what's in front of me right now. She calls me about 6 months ago and she's like, Kaila, I got a grant and I fucking did it. And so she got a grant for $100,000 from Wisconsin, and they gave her the money, and she put on this conference last weekend, and she invited authors. She invited representatives from their VA from Wisconsin, like where they live. And everyone that was there was a survivor of military sexual trauma. And so like the whole weekend was just heavy, but like it was fucking awesome. Okay, let me tell you, like when I was speaking and the things that I would do during my speech, I was like making them get up and I made them do like a warrior yell. I don't know if you guys saw my profile picture, but that was like during, I was like, ah, right, went full Super Saiyan on stage. And I was like, you just kind of like, you have to do this, right? And I talked about situational awareness, mindfulness, and it's from surviving to thriving after military sexual trauma. Okay. And so my stats aren't right, but this is my brain. 90 or more % of all women that have claimed sexual violence in the military have either been pushed out, demoted, retaliated upon, like your career's over. Oh, so-and-so did such and such. Well, you might as well just, okay, guess I'm getting chaptered out now, because that's the stigma, straight up. And so what we're trying to do is, and I can't say a couple things. Hold on, I can't say a couple things until they come to fruition. I can't talk about this. So I'm going to be spearheading a program where I'm going to be trying to take Shield of Sisters and I'm going to fight MST in real time. And so after I spoke with that, like as a speaker, they were like, dude, you got to go national. Like, we're going to send you to all of the military bases. And I was like, cool, right? And so if they send me to the military bases, XYZ 1, 2, 3, this is how you need to be able to thrive, mindfulness and like whatnot. Hey, Kaila, you know, what you said up there kind of really resonated with me. This is what's happening in my chain of command. Like, as we speak, this is what happened to me and blah, blah. And I'm going to be like, well, let's fucking go. I dare them to do anything in front of me and retaliate with a whole nonprofit at your back now that every single person that runs it and that's in the program has experienced it in some way, shape, or form. So it's going to be like, okay, I'll retaliate. Okay, well, such and such at this, you know, unit or whoever it is, or at this place, because I probably can't be like, oh, at, you know, 101st Division of Quartermaster, whatever. I probably can't do that. And so I'm going to be like, so we're here at, you know, we're here at Fort Hood. And I just talked to a soldier about what's happened to her. And currently right now, her chain of command is trying to retaliate on her and blah, blah. And so we're going to be able to put that stuff out. Imagine the culture change.
Yeah.
It's going to be fucking sick.
You're going to be giving them voices.
Yeah. And I'm going to be a whole ass advocate. You want to be scared? You can be scared. I'll let you be. I'm not. I'll be advocating for you every step of the way.
I've never thought about this.
Like, I'm going to make them look at me in my eyes and shake my hand and be like, do you see me seeing you?
Yeah. I've never thought about this until now. I can totally picture
you doing exactly that too.
You know, when you achieve a promotion in the military, some levels of promotion, a lot of times, or even, you know, a demotion, a lot of times you're forced to or requested to PCS, change unit, whatever, because if you start off, you know, PFC or whatever in a unit and all of a sudden you're an E5 and your peers are still PFCs, they don't respect you. You know, so you PCS, you move on to another unit, you go somewhere else. That way you're starting over as a leader rather than as a peer to them. I wonder if there'd be an opportunity for that to be at least part of the solution. If that climate in that unit is that bad, they're not going to want to be there anyways. They don't want to be around the same people. They don't want to be around that leadership. They want to go somewhere else where people don't know them, where they can, you know, adjust to the changes and not have to worry that somebody is going to say, oh, I don't want to send them to that school because, you know, then they're going to say it's favoritism or the culture is wrong or, you know, they're not a good person. They're just not going to be treated favorably. So I wonder how that would even work, how that would even start. I don't think there was anything ever like that when I was in. Was there anything like that when you were?
Nope. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. And I've always had that, like, that thing that I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to do this, but I was like, I need something at my back,
Right.
right? I can't just go over and just go to Fort Hood and be like, hey, so-and-so is, I'm good. And be like, and just be loud about it because, you know, I'm obnoxious.
Yeah. Walking into
And
the KO office
like,
and being like,
you know what I
hey,
mean?
yeah.
Right. Right. And so what's his name? We were trying to figure out how to make that, like, we want, I mean, sexual harassment, rape, and all of that rape culture, like, obviously we want it to be gone, period. But like in the military, for sure, the like the workplace, I mean, these are soldiers that are having to protect, you know, national security, and we're just worried about whether we're going to get cut up into pieces and thrown into the Belton Forest. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, just in general, you went on TikTok. I mean, I remember I went on TikTok a couple, like last year sometime, and it was like sometime in April, but it was someone had made a national rape day. You guys hear about that?
No.
Where it was like, all women stay in your house, like we'll be able to just rape you and leave you on like it's National Rape Day. And women were like up in arms about this whole thing. And it was just the fucking idea that someone out there made a National Rape Day.
Yeah.
That's horrific.
And every woman was literally like, I'm scared to like leave my house, especially like those young kids that are impressionable on TikTok and they believe everything that comes out on the internet, right? Just in general, the premise of the idea, I'm like, yo, I wish somebody would, right? Because I've been training my whole life for this moment, right?
I mean, I don't wish.
I can't I don't understand. Yeah, right. But the repercussions.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That is insane.
The problem with the TikTok trends and things like that, to your point, that the kids believe it and they're impressionable, but the other problem is that you start desensitizing people if you keep doing that, right? You go from National Rape Day to National Cut Somebody's Finger Off Day and National Purge Day and all this stuff. Eventually people are going to say, oh, none of this is real, and they're not going to actually think about it anymore. And then somebody's really going to come up with something. A group of people is going to say, we're going to go out and do this, and they're going to put it out. They're going to say it to everybody's face. Nobody's going to believe them, and then nobody's going to be, nobody's head's going to be on a swivel. They're going to think it's not real, and then something bad is actually going to happen because they were desensitized to it. So it's very, the word is evading me right now. I was up way too late last night, recording with another show. For one, it's insensitive, right? And it's also terrible to think that that's funny to create something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we even had a speaker that was a guy that was up there. He didn't understand who he was speaking to.
Oh.
And just like with his story, I was like, you proved us right, Sergeant Major. You proved us right. You got it to make it to Sergeant Major. I don't see anybody out here friggin', oh, this happened to me. This happened to me. Oh, now I get to go to the board.
Why was he invited?
Well, he was invited because we wanted it to be inclusive for men and women, because we know that men have these situations. But he had a very compelling story. It was awesome. It was just he didn't know his audience.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. And so, but the rest, like everything else, I even took something from his story. And so it was like the whole weekend was educational. And relieving in some way, even healing, I guess, for most of the people that attended. It was pretty cool to see. It was like electrifying. Like you go out there and you start talking to these women and you see them and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Like, cause I was on stage and I was like, yo, you just left mine. Like it was just and they're like, I want to be that courageous. I'm like, okay, do it.
For how many people was it their first time telling their story or advocating? Was it the majority or?
Mhm.
How many
Mhm.
people were in
I would
attendance?
assume just the speakers and stuff like have shared their story. I've shared my story plenty of times, whatnot.
Right.
But like the for people, there were vendors there that were listening, and then maybe about 40 or 50 women from all over. I mean, I met obviously Wisconsin, I met um, uh, Texas and San Antonio. I met obviously from Kansas City. There were a couple people that live near me even, and so it was really cool just kind of seeing these people that were ready to um, thrive.
How many people were in attendance?
About 50, about 40 or 50 women.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
is there, was it like venue restricted, or was it just because it was the first one and it's when you're getting started it's hard to get people to fill in seats, or do you think people were just nervous or afraid of showing up because they haven't told their story yet? I'm not saying that like it's small. I'm just kind of wondering what, that first step, what that took.
So that first step, she basically invited people that she knew or had met up into, like at other events, at other military galas, and at there. She's like, "Hey, I got this thing that I'm planning. It's for women survivors of MST, and like, I'd love for you to join. I'd love for you to come." And so, since it was such a new nonprofit, it is still new, that it was just now it's like word of mouth. But now that we had the conference, we even got a call from the White House.
Oh, wow.
Hey, we heard what you guys were doing over the weekend. Let's talk about that. And I was like,
That's huge.
right, right. Just bringing the attention. I mean, what's that? Who is that? Who's the guy in, is it North Carolina? Seth, what's his name?
So you kind
Heg,
of, your
Hegger,
audio kind of broke
Hegger,
up for a
what is
second.
it? Who's that Seth guy that is y'all's in North Carolina? Seth Hager. He just renamed Liberty back to Bragg.
Oh, Pete Hegseth.
Pete Hegseth just closed down our sexual trauma department that they have with the DoD.
Do you think?
So we got the Bragg back, and we got the Gulf of Americas back. But at least I got that shit to think about.
Do you think that it's more into like restructured? Because that's what a lot of all of this has seemed like to this point. It's, hey, you have. I just showed Nona, or I actually didn't show her the video. I talked about it. There's a video of these guys in South Africa that both have these little shovels with like a mini scooper on it, and they're scooping water out of a flooded road into a 5-gallon bucket, and then a third guy, and they're just taking turns slowly. Just one guy picks up a little bit, dumps it in there, and then the guy, it fills up, he picks it up, he walks over to the river and dumps it in there. So you don't need 3 people to do that job, right? You can take those 3 people and you can apply their skills or their knowledge in more effective and efficient ways. That was just, busy work to give people paychecks. Do you think that there's any way that this is going to come back in a different, maybe more efficient and more effective form, or do you think it's really gone?
Good question. My whole thing about it is that you closed it and there's no talk to any of the people that are involved with it of how it's going to be restructured.
Interesting.
Like you haven't told, like you just closed it down. There was no, hey, we're closing this down. What do, we want to hear from military, whoever, sexual survivors, trauma survivors, or military, whatever it is, whoever it is that's in that this office can help and affect. There was no conversation of being like, hey, this is going to close down XYZ because we're going to build it up a little bit better and we want this in place to do that. No, it was just, it's gone. And we're just like, are you fucking bringing that back?
Yeah, hopefully they do.
And so
You're on X, right? On Twitter?
No.
You need,
Neither am
I
I.
need you on there. For nothing more than it's very easy to make introductions to the people that can fix things. I can still do it email wise and everything like that, but I think Anthony, because he has such a large voice and audience, Anthony Anderson from Stolen Valor, Guardian of Valor, he, and then what's his name from Hots and Cots? He'd probably be another really good one because he has the ear of a lot of those people at the various different military installations. And then some of the former group guys that are in former PSYOP guys and things like that. Is that when they tweet something, when they say, hey,
Huge following.
yeah, when they say, hey, DOD, hey, Pete Hegseth, hey, SecDef, hey, POTUS, whatever, when they do that and they tweet that out, it gets attention. And people, not only do people comment and react, but they usually get an answer back within a few days from those organizations.
Create an account today.
Yeah.
It's just we're, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired and I don't care. And you're gonna fire me. Okay.
Yep.
Like I don't work. I have a time to stay on your ass.
Yep.
And that's all we're trying to do is just kind of like, I'm tired of people being like, oh, this is happening. Oh, this sucks. Oh, that's bullshit. This is happening. Oh, that person's making, and I'm like, I mean, go wear the fucking shoes, bro.
Right.
Right? Like go out and do something instead of bitching about it all the time.
Do you think it'd be better if the nonprofit sector and the private sector were to take full control of that entirely, not even give the military the reins back, but have it handled independently? Or do you think the military needs a middleman?
I mean, yeah, because I don't like being told what to do anyway. Right? Like we don't like being told what to do anyway. And so putting that something like that in the military control or government control, it's like, well, obviously we already don't trust you to begin with.
Right.
And so I mean, it'd be kind of cool to put it into a civilian sector. Like what if Shield of Sisters started this whole thing and it just turns into a whole like 1-800 number, this is what's happening to me. And I'd be like, oh, my battle angel's coming to you within the next 24 hours. Expect us. We're going to fly in and blah, blah, blah. That's what the future is. Like, that's what we're hoping. We want it to stop.
Yeah. And
like, and I even said this during my speech. I was like, I'm a walking sexual harassment case. And you're literally like, I can't go anywhere where it's just, I can't just be somewhere.
right.
I'm getting looks, I'm getting up and down. I mean, like you get it, right?
Well, I say
and so
stuff.
everywhere we go, this one, her, like I know she understands.
No,
Like
I say stuff.
going into a room, you're just right.
I see it happen. She's oblivious to it most of the time.
No, I am not oblivious to it. I intentionally do not engage.
I'll be 2 steps behind her in the grocery store or something, and I'll see some dude with his wife and kids looking her up and down. I'm like, did you get a good fucking look, dude? Do you want to take a picture of my wife's tits? Do you need to go jerk off? Well, the wife is right there.
Right.
And it makes me want to crawl
the fuck out
in a ball and die.
And see, that's the difference is that like Jay watches and he sees it, but like my first line of defense already when I'm walking, because it happens to me all the time, is like, I might look pretty, but my mouth ain't. I'll fucking cuss you up and down this whole ass place.
Yeah, you guys are like the opposite of us in terms of like who's the more
you're the fiery
extrovert,
one,
introvert.
he's the quiet one, whereas I'm the quiet one, he's the fiery one.
But Jay would, if something were to happen, Jay would step up and be the muscle there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Whereas if something were to happen to me, you'd be like, I gotta call 911 real quick. I'm just kidding.
Rude.
Yeah, right.
The only people that eye me up and down are the cashiers at Walmart and stuff like that, and they're like, big boy.
Yeah.
Big boy.
I've told you a lot of stories. I couldn't think of a good one off the top of my head, but I've told you these stories a million times. It's always a elderly, like a 70, 80-year-old little cashier woman who's like retired but just wants something to get out of the house. And then there's the short, larger black woman who's just like, I'd love to take you home.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, to be clear, it's not the same. It's very, very much not the same as what you go through, because I can come home and laugh about it. They're not going to take me home. You know, it's
Right.
but
I've had to learn how to be emotionally intelligent because, you know, these hands still work, but, you know, I can't just go around punching people in the throat anymore, apparently.
Apparently. Anymore? How many times have you done that?
with the right amount of money and the
Money.
right attorney, anything is possible.
Okay.
But so in terms of, you said the battle angels, is that what you guys are calling the person that responds to the case? Is that the working name?
That is a working name. We really like it. We're hoping the future looks like I am going to spearhead this program, and we'll be able to have, and obviously it's volunteer based, right? And so I got a battle angel in North Carolina, and, you know, Nona's getting sexually harassed or whatever at her job in the military, and she's going to come up to me or go and call that 1-800 number that we'll have, and she's going to be like, this is what's happening, this is where I'm at, this is, you know, and then we'll do some investigation, obviously, because I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, well, and then just go yell at everybody with one side of the story. But like, you're going to know that I was there and that she told somebody, and now she's not alone.
Right.
And so we're just trying to bring awareness and for it to just stop. Like, it's everywhere. I mean, it's even on the social media videos, reels, and just of all of the, it's so prevalent, like it's just natural.
I don't want to say that the social media stuff is staged, but a lot of it is.
For sure.
Which brings us back again to desensitizing people, right? The more people see that and they're more like, oh, this video is a joke. This video is a joke. Now, when they hear it happen in real life or to somebody that they know, they're like, oh, you're doing it for clout. You're only saying something happened to you for clout. And that harms the people who are truly impacted. So once again, it's insensitive, you know, to create content like that. It's not funny to anybody. It only hurts. Right. It only hurts the people who are truly impacted, and then they feel like they don't have anybody that they can truly reach out to because you look like you're crying wolf, and
right,
pretty horrific to think.
I had a lady, I had a young woman share her story with me over the weekend, and there's no details. The only detail that I have is that she was put on extra duty, and old boy was able to just walk past her while she was mopping the fucking floor after she'd been raped by him. Imagine. I'm gonna break my foot up. Hello.
Hello.
Jay wants to come say hi.
What's going on, buddy?
How are you?
No. Will you take it? Put it in there.
There you go.
How are you?
Oh, they're like,
oh gosh, we can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
A little bit. It's
as long as your faces are like right next to each other, then it will think that you're. There you go.
You have become one.
Yes.
Yeah. I walk around. I've got 4 arms, 3 legs, and 1 robot leg.
That's fair. How's the fitting going?
It's good. Good. It's getting there. So.
How long does it take to make?
I wonder, Kayla, if you turn noise control back off, if that'll help, because it might be trying to cancel his voice out because it's not yours, if that makes sense.
How about now?
Jay?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, that worked.
Boom. Problem solver.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Yes.
How
Look
long
at
does it take to
you.
make? We didn't hear your answer.
Well, we'll be here all week, so
I got to show you this picture.
there's a few different steps to it.
What's the so they have to take a new mold, I'm assuming, and then from there they have to cast and do all that?
Wow.
So this is Jay's old one, the one that he's been wearing for the last year and a half.
Okay.
Look how small it is, right? He
Yeah.
was about 160, 170. And this is him now.
I never really thought about that weight change when you, because it has to still
Because look,
fit.
there's the cast.
Yeah.
So they have to like cut it out and
Yeah.
do all the things. Yeah. And so they like duct taped him and casted him with, and it was really cool. So we had to videotape it
You walk into the
because
doctor's
I told them
office.
about your doctor.
You walk into the doctor's office and the doctor's like, hey, you're not allowed to gain weight or lose weight. Stay the exact same weight all the time.
Forever.
Do they make anything that a sleeve that's like adjustable in any way, or is it all just firm because it has to be? I have no idea, obviously.
For me, like, where I'm amputated at, there's really no option to like wear bigger or smaller sleeves per se as someone with an amputation below or above the knee. They have sleeves that they can change throughout the day
Right.
to make it because they're residual info. Get bigger or smaller.
Right. The audio got low.
His sleeve is his sleeve is his underwear. So he has to wear the sleeve.
Right.
Gotcha.
All right, go ahead. Love you.
Right. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, Jay, thank you. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by.
Too many technical difficulties.
It's all good.
Are you hiding in a cleaning closet? Where are you?
I'm in one of the patient rooms.
I just saw the cleaning supplies in the corner, and then it looks very small. So I was wondering if you were hiding in a closet.
She just went to the doctor and was like, hey, I'm taking one of your
Yes.
patient rooms.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do about it.
I did. I was like, I need an office. Do you have an office? They're like, yeah, you just use that one over there. I'm
No,
like, thank
that's
you.
awesome.
That's great.
We're here all day. Like I was like, I got stuff I got to do still.
Right. Well, as you get, things ramped up with the nonprofit and stuff, unfortunately, YouTube restricts fundraisers for nonprofits to channels over 10,000 subscribers. So that being said, if you're watching or listening to this right now, go drop us a subscription or subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us everywhere, blah, 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 so you know where all the links and stuff are. That way we can run fundraisers for Kaila in the future. Right?
Right.
Yeah. There are like some loopholes that you can go through and you have to like fill out forms and do everything like that. But typically, in order to run, like, how Facebook has like the birthday fundraisers and things like that. In order to do that on YouTube, you have to have 10,000 subscribers. So
We're not there yet.
Interesting.
We're too
We're not there
little.
yet. We're gonna get you there.
Yep.
We're gonna get you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just lots of stuff happening. There's just, and then my other nonprofit, the one that my family started, the Technology Shared Foundation, it's down in Savannah. Unsubscribed podcast. So Eli and Brandon, they gave us $10,000 back in November for
Wow.
because we are so down in Savannah. Technology Shared every Wednesday. We're literally in the underserved part of the communities. Like we are in it, right? And so we're using those local resource centers to hold classes where we're teaching the kids that are in those underserved communities how to use the internet, how to use a cell phone, how to make a website, how to do a resume, what jobs there are in cybersecurity. You're not stuck where you're at, right? There's people out here, there's resources out here, and we're trying to change that generational stuff over there. And so it's been really cool. So we took the 10 grand, we bought them a bunch of laptops and phones so that they have something tangible in their hands to be like, okay, this is, they don't have internet at home,
Right.
these kids. And so like, this is not a thing. They don't know how to use it, and it's really cool seeing them like grow and get excited about, oh, we got a laptop. We brought the laptops in and they're like, oh, and I was like crying. It was
What
the
was the
whole
coolest
thing.
project that you
And it
saw
was
them
just so
create?
simple. There's actually a website for it. I posted it on the Instagram Technology Shared Foundation on Instagram. The kids made their own websites
That's awesome.
and they like designed them. They put their own music on there. They put like their likes and what they want to be when they grow up and just like all of these things. And then if they we set challenges and so that you can keep on progressing and learning the different educational curriculums that we're putting out. And so now we're at the YMCA, we're at Park Resource Center, we're at a couple of places over in Richmond Hill where people can come, they can learn about technology. I mean, literally, one of the late Miss Betty, she's so cute. Miss Betty, she goes over to the Park Resource Center. You have a computer in front of her, and she's literally like this. And we're like, okay, we need to go to Google. And she's like, okay, how you spell that? Oh, I got you. And we're sitting there next to the computer, and I was like, G, and she goes,
Kerplunk.
no. And then, no. And I was like, okay, like literal teaching them basic, right? Like she could get a job if she learns how to use a computer, right? Or these kids can, help. I mean, gosh, it's so cool. And so just watching them learn and kind of realize what kind of potential there is out there for them has been really cool.
There's a nonprofit in Durham that does something very, very similar. Their program is geared towards underserved children, mothers, like battered women's shelters, things like that. One of their means of fundraising though is they run summer camps. So you can send your kid for several weeks to go do like robotics classes or typing or build a computer. And obviously, so you pay for that as the person sending your kid to camp. And then they take the money that you paid into the camp to buy more laptops and phones and provide internet service and teach people the same kind of thing. So it's kind of a cool way to fundraise because you're not just asking people for money, you're giving them something in return for their money, and then giving the nonprofit the ability to provide people with computers and things like that so that they can find work and build their lives after whatever happened to them. So it sounds like you kind of have two nonprofits that could really, like both of the ones that you work with, that is, that you guys can kind of tie some things together. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult unless they're getting ready to ETS. They're probably not going to have a lot of time to start a new business and while they're serving in the Army.
No, but we are trying to figure out like with Technology Shared, we're trying to figure out like a skill bridge program, workforce program of being able to be like, okay, so especially since we need volunteers, right? And you got military transitioning over, you can take those skills, teach people, you get to volunteer for the nonprofit, do some good also, and then ETS still get paid by the military, and it's like 3 months long. It's like a whole thing.
Yep.
Why not? So we're trying, we're figuring it out, and we're just trying to figure out where I can get more funding for them, and where we just want to help people, and like we're helping women, and then we're helping children, and most of the people that we're helping have a very dim look on their future.
I can believe it. Seems to be,
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Every time I think something is, everybody, it's ubiquitous or common knowledge or whatever, there always just seems to be that element of, oh, now I'm the guy that's out of touch.
Right.
What are you looking at like that? I try and stay there. There's a lot of times that I'm shocked in the other direction too. Like the kids talk about some of the things that they do in school, and they're using applications and stuff on their computers. They're learning how to use like Blender, if you're familiar with that, in school. And there's not really a lot of applications for them to to use with something like that, but it's like a familiarity course. Like here's some really cool and creative things that you can do when you grow up. You know, it's not, we're not trying to teach you how to become a professional at 9 years old. We're just showing you, hey, this exists. You should check it out. You know, maybe it'll be interesting. Go home and tell your parents to buy a computer so you can do it.
Yeah. But that's the problem, is that they can't.
Yep.
And so that's why if we buy them, if you donate, right, and we buy them the computer, they have it working. It stays, you know, at the resource center with them. They get to use it. It's the same one that they check in and out, just like you would at a computer lab.
Yep.
Right. And the kids are they really like it. And so that even brings me back to my next point, is that we've been able to like buy, you know, like gift cards or pizza parties or whatever. Like, hey, you win, show me what you're learning. Oh, snap, you get like a $20 gift, $10 gift card to Starbucks or something.
Yeah.
That's
And they're
awesome.
like, oh, snap, right? So it's been really cool just seeing the kids and the seniors, because it's seniors also. I mean, technology is leaving them in the dust,
Right.
literally. And so
Hey, it's leaving me in
we're
the
just
dust
teaching
too,
them
and
about
that's
how to
crazy.
stay. You ain't no joke. What was that?
So both of the organizations have websites and everything like that established, so we can link them in the comments and provide descriptions and stuff like that for people, correct?
Yeah. tsfi.org, technologysharedfoundation.org, and then Shield of Sisters.
Okay. We'll make sure that those get put in pinned comments and descriptions and everything like that. I wanted to tell you this. It's kind of random, but it's at the same time, you know, it makes sense. I was looking for some billboard advertising opportunities for Nona's insurance company, and I just wanted to price it, just see what they said was available. Because I've seen, if people are paying for it, it has to work in some capacity, right? Even if it's just an awareness campaign, it has to work to some degree. So I was looking at the three main companies around here's websites, and one of them had like their outreach program in the footer of the website, and I clicked on it, and it was like, you know, eligible companies can apply for grants or donations from us depending on these criteria. I filled out the form, got an email from the guy like the next day, and he was like, send me the form, and all I want is a link on your website that says I donated to you and here's the money. And I was like, I need to figure out a way to find more companies that'll do that. I need to. So
Did he actually donate?
Yeah. It was $150, but I mean, he still donated at least. It's better than
Still
nothing.
like, yeah.
So
One computer for us is $150 refurbished. Like,
so
imagine.
as I find stuff like that, I'm gonna start just bombarding you with links. Every time I find something that we're applying to, or even if we don't apply to it, I'm just gonna send you a link. You're just gonna wake up in the middle of the night and there's gonna be like 3 links in your inbox, and you're like, what the hell is this?
I'm down. We're just trying to help. They have so many ideas, and I was just like, man, like 2025, you're selling, you know, you're selling what we're doing, right? You're selling the heartfelt, whether it's veterans or the children and things like that. Like, we're trying to get people to help.
Right. I think
I had a interesting conversation about, like, if you, my dad, right? If you come up to me and you're like, oh, you know, I've got this nonprofit and we are trying to, you know, technology, and I'm like, cool, you know, oh no, I've got this nonprofit. We're in the middle of underserved communities, helping children and their seniors, like, bridge the technology divide, and like they don't have access to computers or internet, and we're just like, we give them those things, and you can help us, because I mean, your computer's right here in your pocket, too easy to access.
right. Yeah.
Kind of humbles you.
It sucks. So the biggest problem that everybody has with nonprofits, right? Everybody's like, oh, the nonprofit CEO is making all the money. The money's not going. In some cases, that might be true, but you do need people, and people need money. You know, you have to be able to pay people to work for your organization. And that requires people that are able to tell the story, people that are able to do marketing, people, you have to pay for marketing in most cases. There are some grants that you can apply for on Google. Facebook used to have something a long time ago. They don't do it anymore because they want to process the transaction fees. They want you to get somebody to donate to you through them. That way they can take a cut in that donation path. But for people that are watching or listening to this, it's very, very hard for a nonprofit to get the story out without grabbing your attention, which requires hiring people to do social media and edit videos and film things for you, and actually getting people who are in that vulnerable state to sit down and actually tell their story without having a paid actor telling somebody else's story. It's emotionally detached at that point. So in order for the nonprofit to grow, you need money. And to get money, you have to convince people that you're worth donating money to, which requires money to film that product to get that out in front of people. It's just there's a lot of money that goes into a nonprofit, and it really makes me angry when people are like, oh, they're just taking it and they're running ads. I have to. If I don't run ads, you don't know that I exist. So.
Right. And right now I haven't been running any ads because every dollar counts with the kids. And so I can't afford to spend, $30 or $40 to run that Instagram ad for, however long it is, 30 days or a month or whatever it is, right? Like at that point, everything is coming out of our own pocket until Unsubscribe gave us, 10 grand, or I donated to the nonprofit myself of like, here, Dad, $100 a month for 6 months, and I mean, that's what it took. It's what it's taking.
Right. Are you guys on GuideStar and all that yet?
I'll have to ask him. I'm not sure.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking is because that's part of the requirements. So you have to be on like PayPal Giving Fund, GuideStar, and there's one other one that's like Network for Good, I believe is what it's called. Yeah.
I think so. Yes. Because whenever you donate, it go like for mine, I chose the PayPal way because I personally didn't have, but yeah.
So in order for somebody to run a social media fundraiser for you, whether that be YouTube or Facebook or whatever, it doesn't matter, you have to be listed on those services or those platforms in order to even show up as a selectable option to be a fundraiser for. So if you're on there, what I would say and what I would ask people that are watching and listening to this to consider doing that for their birthday fundraisers on Facebook and Instagram, but also to reach out to other people who may be a success story, somebody who was in that situation and either did it on their own or went through another program, and have them, say, hey, I wish this organization was around when I was going through this. They're doing great work. It would have made my life so much easier. Please consider donating to them. And the other problem with that from the nonprofit going out and asking that is because you didn't help them, so they don't want to help you. But I think people should consider, hey, maybe other people's life don't have to be miserable just because mine was. So that's my appeal on your nonprofit's behalf, for people to go out and make a donation.
Yeah. That's what I'm like, I'm call to action, right? Like, especially women with, you got women with shielded sisters, and then you've got, people that aren't heard and don't have a voice. And, we've got one for you over here as well. And so it's, we're just trying to, give people skills. We're trying to help them, better themselves and be more mindful, but also like with Shielded Sisters, especially because that's going to be my biggest push, because I'm going to be spearheading that program, is like, chain of commands, like, I'm coming for you.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to get away with this anymore. And there are so many women that are tired of like, and honestly, what I'm going to speak up about, MST or whatever, this person's going to speak out about MST, and you're going to, what's the word? I mean, there's going to be retaliation. Like, I fucking dare you.
Yeah. Yep.
You're going
At
to take
this
2025
point.
by storm.
Yeah, I'm hoping to, because the women are tired and I hear them and I can feel I can feel that night that, they were just screaming to God of like, why is this happening to me? Well, you're not going to be alone no more. Because like I said, I'm coming for you. And so I just, yeah, I'm tired and I've got nothing to lose.
So going back to DoD pulling that program, the more I think about it, anytime, even myself as a medic going to, the clinic or whatever for the various different injuries and illnesses that I had, there's always people that think you are malingering, you're making something up, you're trying to get out of going to the field, you're trying to get out of PT, there's always that pushback of the people who are also serving, thinking that because they used to be that way or they see that all the time that you are doing that. I think having the external organization that people can reach out to rather than somebody directly within either the installation or the chain of command makes a little bit more sense, because it kind of alleviates some of the stigma, because now they know that there is somebody who will listen to them. Whereas if they went to somebody within the installation and said, hey, this is happening to me, they're going to be like, is it really though? I'm going to call your commander. What's your commander going to say? They don't care as much. I think what you guys are doing is probably the better option.
Yeah. We kind of like, whenever we heard people speaking, I was like, yo, imagine had this happened. Imagine we had so many people that were like, yeah, I spoke up and, I thought I could go to JAG, but I mean, really JAG is for the military. Like, they are going to protect what's theirs. Right. And so there was nothing, there's no help for people like this.
Right.
Civilian lawyers don't want to risk it. Right. The military lawyers work for the military. And 100% of the fucking time, we've either been pushed out, retaliated upon, demoted, or we're just not heard, period. Oh, sorry, you're government property. And so it's your fault that government property was destroyed. And now you can't do the job assigned to you because you're so fucked up in the head that this happened to you. And now you can't deploy. It's your problem. It's your fault. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, that really just came out of your mouth. Yep. Those are real words. Those are real words from commanders that I have heard, whether from my ears or from survivors that have shared their story. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I'll show you fucking government property. You trained me for a reason. Yep. Right? I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of it.
I want to see you berating them, and then I want to watch Jay walk up behind them, take his leg off, and bonk them on the head.
Yeah.
Some comedic relief.
No, seriously.
Right.
It might have been comedic the way that I said it, but what I really meant was knock them out with it.
Oh.
No.
I mean, and that's how it was. I mean, that weekend was heavy. I mean, we're dealing with a heavy subject.
Right.
Right? Imagine, the how many, I mean, I'm going to just say it. Almost. So there's my generalized term. Almost every woman that I have met in my life has been harassed, sexually molested, or raped in some form or fashion. And it wasn't just military.
Right.
And 100% of the time, you don't get justice. You don't get closure. You get kicked out of whatever it is, jobs, families, embarrassments, like, don't embarrass my family, but like, I got time today.
So in a unrelated but similarly and somewhat related post or case, I'm not even going to say the name because everybody knows what we're talking about. We've talked about this previously, but I think one of the problems for survivors is that when they go through something like family court, in states like Utah, family court's sealed. So the outcome of it is only known to the court and the people that were there. So you don't get to have that public shaming of the person that committed the crime. You know, it's behind closed doors. Nobody's allowed to know about this. And then when the victim goes and tells their story, there's no way that they can prove it because the court docket was sealed. Right? It's kind of, I understand from the perspective of innocent until proven guilty. You know, you don't want to, if they are truly innocent, you don't want to have their information floating out there as if they're some sort of criminal. But when they are convicted, it should be made public knowledge. It should be put out there just like any other mugshot is for any other, stealing
Or like
bubble
the
gum.
sex offender list.
Yeah. But even if it's not sexual offense, even if it's domestic abuse of any kind,
I said like the sex offender list.
Yeah.
It should be public knowledge
okay,
like
I understand
that.
what you're saying. Sorry. Yeah.
And a known abuser just moved in next to you.
Yeah. The piece of shit list, and then you get a coupon code in the mail for 50% off of your favorite firearm at your local retailer.
Okay.
That's a good partnership.
Yeah,
right
but that is a good partnership, but you also got to realize that there's lots of people that have been convicted of sex crimes that they were innocent because the woman had retaliation and stuff like that. Like, and we take all of that into account.
Right.
And so I want to preface I'm coming for you with, this isn't a wish hunt. I'm going to be looking for accountability.
Right. No, that's completely fair. Completely true. I mean, so last night when I was on the live stream with another podcast, they had their a friend of theirs who's an attorney on the show to do like the legalese, interpreting what the law means, interpreting what the documents actually mean, what all these different codes and all this stuff that's on the dockets means. And it kind of made me realize for a second that of all the times that I'm like, the words that you choose matter when you say something like, oh, this was dropped or it was dismissed or it was reduced or whatever. All of that stuff really matters. And when you're running around saying so-and-so allegedly did this, so-and-so, or being absolute about it, so-and-so did do this, it's problematic for both parties, because then if they are found innocent, now you've been out here committing libel and slander and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of wonder from the perspective of the military and everything like that, what that would look like to make that information public. Like if somebody in your unit is found guilty and they really did do it, not just falsely accused, but how do you go about making sure that everybody else knows who that person is and what they did? Is it like the command group board with like the president's picture and everybody, and then off to the side you have unit douchebags? Or is it, a text or an email, something that goes out to everybody that says, hey, watch out for this guy? Because a lot of times those people are still kept in the ranks. They're reduced, they lose their rank and pay, and they do a little bit of time, or they might get, 45 and 45 or whatever. But I wonder how you make that follow them.
So counselings and Article 15s, obviously they can follow you from, they can see that stuff, right? The command can see that stuff. I think it's going to be just based on case by case basis, because it's not like we can just like crucify, that's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
I'm looking for chain of commands to take accountability for their soldier, to do the job that you were like, you're my commander.
Right.
I am literally your property,
Right.
government property. The unit owns me and my life. I'm getting deployed. I'm not getting deployed, whatever. Right. Like you told me I was government property and that it was my fault that I destroyed. Right. So that's what I am. Right. Then fucking take care of it. Like that Vanessa Guillen thing. How is this young lady missing for how long was she missing? What, like a month, right?
It was a while.
We can't even leave a gun out of the armory for more than 24 hours without being like, all y'all motherfuckers ain't going home until this gun's right back into its space.
Yep.
They take more accountability over their weapons and their quartermaster shit than they do about their people.
So since Nona's not familiar with this, if you lose something in the field and exercise, you drop something in the water or whatever, firearm, night vision, something like that, they will lock down the entire military installation
until it's found.
Nobody comes on
And they're
nobody
coming.
leaves. Yeah. And
But they didn't do that for a girl.
Yeah, that's insane. Which, to make the connection here, everybody drags Russia because Russia notoriously treats their soldiers literally like property. And I mean, they treat them like they are replaceable at the drop of a dime. They don't care about your life. And I think to make that analogy to them, to say, hey, if you're going to act like this to your service members, you're no better than the people that we're fighting against. You know, you are no better than Russia if you don't care about your people.
I mean, that's all good leadership, right?
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it. Like, what are you going to tell me? Oh, Kayla's being a bitch about, she's just coming in here yelling at everybody and for what? Tell me what I was a bitch about. I dare you to tell the world what I was being a bitch about.
Yep.
This is the opener of our podcast right here. What you just did.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Kayla's a bitch.
Well,
I'm
Right.
just gonna be a bitch about it.
But like though, not like
Giving
even
zero
so.
fucks at this point.
Well, I'm holding myself accountable with how I treat people. My mindfulness, like I said, like this last year has been crazy trauma, right? But I'm not a victim. I don't live in that space. Like, what's next? That's how I am. That's how I operate. And so it's like, if I'm holding myself accountable to all of this stuff that I've got to change, right? I have to change. I know I have to change. I know it's my fault sometimes where I'm just like, right? And so I have to do that. Oh, you best believe I'm going to hold you accountable for how you're acting around me and how you're treating people around me and things like that. Like, if I can directly affect you and I can see you, right, then I'm gonna be like, that's not how this works. Right? Like, come on.
So one of the things that I think would make sense to happen is if those in those leadership roles in those units are found to have done something to cover it up or make it look less than what it was. So you probably don't know this at all. If somebody is removed from the commander from a unit or battalion or whatever, if they're removed from that role or forced into retirement, they're still retiring and collecting that pay for the rest of their life. And at the high 3. So whatever the average of their best 3 paid years. So they might be reduced in retirement, and their retirement plaque may say that, oh, they were only a lieutenant, but they're still going to get that retirement pay of lieutenant colonel, general, whatever at the end of the day. So it's not really a punishment. It's more a slap on the wrist. We don't want you here anymore because you're bad for the climate, but here's your paycheck for the rest of your life. I think if you threaten them with saying, we're going to take it all from you, your time no longer mattered, then people might take it a little bit more serious.
I mean, that's how these women are treated.
Right.
They don't get no pay. They don't, like, 10 years. I had one woman that I became really good friends with while we were there over the weekend. She was in 10 years, like top of her. She was a firefighter in the Air Force. Like, she was the top of her class. She was leading the way, setting the standard, right? One day somebody did something to her and she went and she tried telling her to take him hand, and it just trickled on. And like, she lost everything. And then one guy was like, finally, after a year of fighting, some guy was like, are you telling me, he went to her chain of command, are you telling me that she's not had anything, no behavioral counselings in 10 years? Are you telling me that, she's top of her everything for 10 years straight? Is that what you're telling me? That you're kicking somebody out? There was no recourse. There was no counselings. There was no step 1, 2, or 3. It was, oh, fuck you. I don't want, we're not doing that. You know, gatekeeping men shit.
Yep.
Like, finally someone had believed her. And she was like, no one believed me. No one would help me.
Yep.
I even had chaplains that I went to, and they were like, oh no, because oh boy, that was the chaplain, used to be the commander of this battalion over here. And then when he switched over, he got to go, and then he started treating her like an SI guy instead of a chaplain.
Right.
And was like, oh, well, what did you do? And it just kept on going. And she was like, you're the fucking chaplain. Right?
Yep.
Like,
That's terrible.
I shouldn't be having to scream at your face and be like, hello, this is what's happening.
Yep. Yeah.
It's insane.
So again, to bring you kind of up to speed on how the military works and your chain of command works. Say, for example, you and I, same rank, doing the same job, and you had an issue with me about something. Typically, you're supposed to start out with taking it up with your squad leader or your team leader, your squad leader, your platoon sergeant. You're supposed to kind of work your way up, right? You're supposed to go just one echelon above you. However, commanders and first sergeants and sergeant majors and above typically say that they have an open door policy. If something's bad enough and you need to circumvent, yeah, that's basically what I'm getting at. They say, okay, if something's happening, say for example, it's your platoon sergeant doing it. The next person that you would go to in that situation would be your first sergeant. So you go to the first sergeant, you go to the commander, and you say, hey, sir, hey, first sergeant, whatever. Want to utilize the open door policy. Can I come talk to you about something? And they'll typically hear you out. They'll listen. They'll say, yeah, come on, sit down, or let's go here. Let's talk about this. But then they go back down through and they say, where was the failure here? Was it the squad leader? Was it the team leader? Why didn't you guys address this? Why did it come to me to begin with? Now you have those guys that you skipped in the chain of command who are now mad at you for jumping over them because you didn't warn them that they were going to get in trouble.
Gotcha.
So it's a double-edged sword. I'm not only saying this applies to sexual abuse and stuff like that. It's everything. If I have any sort of issue with you, you're being racist or whatever, and you jump over the chain of command, it's always going to come back on that soldier. So,
Gotcha.
in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're going to do a lot of good standing up for all the victims.
You know what I think?
Let's hope so.
I think Kayla's gonna be like the Rosie the Riveter, like the very
I can see
like
that.
the strength, the face of strength and stuff for all of this. Kayla's gonna land at the airport near a military installation. They're like, oh shit, lock everything, shut everything, pull the blinds down.
She's here.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope that when they hear that I'm coming, that they're going to be like, oh, somebody on the post is talking to Kayla.
Yeah.
And they should all be scared. Or fucking do your job and we won't
Right.
have a
Yep,
fucking
yep.
issue.
Right.
Go look up, if you haven't seen this yet, go look up the picture of the Special Forces guy that's running with Pete Hegseth in Germany a day or two ago. This dude he's a big dude. And everybody's like, damn, like that's his body. So what I'm imagining in my head is Kayla's getting off the plane and then Kayla's got her goon squad with her. And that guy is the one leading the goon squad. When you see him, you'll know what I'm talking about. Everybody's got the briefcases and they're walking in there, the single file line of people with very serious faces on. You're like, oh shit, we are fucked. We should not have done that. You see him?
Yeah.
This dude
I'm
is
trying
a
to
brick
look.
shit house. Like, yeah. And on
Is he a
top of-
body? You said the bodyguard?
I believe I don't know. I don't remember the exact context, but people that are still in the Army said that he's a group guy. So he said Pete posted that he was doing PT with one of the units over there. He's like, sharp minds, sharp body, or strong body, sharp minds, something along those lines. So I'll show the picture to you later.
Okay.
He's like running in the background. He looks so little and he's like my height and size. And then you have, because the guy's also closer to the camera, he looks like the mountain basically.
Oh.
It's like the mountain is the bodyguard for Pete Hegseth in this little post-run kind of thing. So,
Yep.
well, Kayla,
Uh,
go ahead.
it is. Is it the John Hassan being?
I actually don't know the name of the guy, but everybody's been sharing it, so I'm sure if I can. Oh, I didn't. Right, look at that right there. Boom, that's the guy.
What is it?
I'll show it
What's
to you.
his, what's his name?
I
That's a
don't,
big dude.
I don't know what his name is, but that's the guy right there.
Jesus.
Yeah, and that's Pete back there running behind him. Ronnie Atkins from Funker 530 posted, and he said, he is him. The Space Marines, or Adeptus Astartes, I guess that's like Latin or something, are foremost amongst the defenders of humanity, the greatest of the emperor of mankind's warriors. Like building a lore for this guy.
Is it the guy with? Does he have red hair, red beard?
No. Here's the better picture. So here's kind of the bigger picture of it. I'm going to get closer to the camera for you so you can see it.
Go ahead. Oh, jeez. Yeah. That's a
So-
whole Jack Reacher type motherfucker.
Yeah. But that's what I'm imagining. Kayla gets off the plane. She's got her goon squad with her to go make sure everybody's accountable. If everybody, you doing the right thing, cool. Let's go get lunch then. We're all happy here.
Yeah. We don't have a problem. We don't have a problem. If you're taking care of your soldiers like the way that you're supposed to be taking care of them, we will not have a problem.
Yep.
If this girl comes up to me and she's like, this happened to me, and I went to my chain of command, or I haven't gone yet because I'm afraid of, right? I'll go nice. I haven't gone yet because I'm afraid of retaliation. Well, let's go speak with them, right? Versus, I put my chain of command. I got extra duty. I'm like, let's go to your chain of command.
Yep.
Right? You're going to get like 3 different parts of me depending on your actions.
Right. So do the right thing to begin with, and then you won't have to deal with Kayla.
Integrity. Yeah. Have some integrity. Be accountable. And, live those fucking Army values that you make us memorize from start to finish.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, Kayla, we'll make sure that we get all the links and stuff in the description before all this goes up. Is there anything else that you're working on that you think the audience would like to know about, or where they can find you if you want them to find you?
They can find me on Facebook with Kaila Fain. They can find me on Instagram at, I'm pretty sure it's Kaila Fain 13. I'm on LinkedIn, technologysharedfoundation.org. I'm on there also. You can email the support email, and hello, I'm the one doing their social media. And then Shield of Sisters, same thing. I've got an email, Kayla@shieldofsisters.com. So email me, and we can get you some help.
Is that the best way for people that need help right now to reach out in general, is just to email you directly?
Yeah, because they can either email me directly, or they can email, like, DM me, hop in the DMs, right? I will pass it up the chain to see what our options are right now. So we're just starting out the program. And then, that first one's going to be a doozy. So it's going to be a learning curve for sure. But I'll have a point to make.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, email, and then I can go back and I can tell, or I can convene and get back to people. Too easy.
Well, if you need any support, I'm sure Nona would be willing to deploy me to help.
You're going to be the bodyguard.
Heck,
You're
she'll
gonna be the
probably
dude.
want to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
You're
gonna
gonna
come
be
and be
your
like,
squad.
Yeah.
I'll just be your cheerleader.
I know some people I can recruit. I'm sure Jay does too.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was
Well, it's getting loud.
yeah, it was great having you on. I'll have you stick on here when we end the recording, but I'm happy we got to talk about this, and glad that you got to be Keynote, and that you guys are going to take this to the next level. Hopefully it's the beginning of the end for stuff like that happening.
Let's see how I'm more interested in what's that? The backlash.
Yeah.
Why?
Yep.
Why do I have backlash?
Yep.
Explain to me why I have backlash.
So
I can't wait. Don't worry. I'll wait.
I think something, and this probably needs to be workshopped a little bit, but I think something, a tagline for the organization could be something to the effect of, we've succeeded when we no longer need to exist. Like when we're no longer asking you for support and donations, we've done our job. But until then,
Right.
We're here.
Yeah. And the mission continues.
Yep. Well, again, thanks for coming on. It's been great as always. Obviously, a little bit different tone from the last episode, but it's nice having you on. Hopefully we can do this more frequently. Both talking about this, but also talking about any other endeavors that you have going on.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm excited.
All right. Thank you, Kaila. Bye, everyone.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.